Fundamentals 30, taking the ball early. The general rule in tennis is the sooner you hit the ball, the sooner it gets back to your opponent, which can force an error, because your opponent can end up with a late backswing or be late getting to the ball. The element of surprise can make hitting the ball early even more effective. For example, if you've been returning the ball from the baseline and making ball contact at the top of a ball's bounce, you can surprise your opponent by not waiting for the ball to reach the top of its bounce by coming in and hitting it early. One technique is called hitting it on the rise, where you go in toward where the ball is going to bounce and make contact just after it bounces and is thus rising. Doing this gets the ball back to your opponent quite a bit quicker, and it's especially effective if they're not expecting it. So if you normally would be hitting the ball at a nice height here, and you see it come in about the same way, come in. Hit the ball just after the bounce and maybe even continue it. That way the ball gets back to him quicker because you're hitting it earlier and it has less distance to travel, so it gets back to them even quicker. Hitting the ball right after it bounces is called a half volley. Its name probably coming from the fact that a half volley is what you hit if instead of staying back and hitting a ground stroke when the ball is at the top of its bounce, you go toward the net in an attempt to hit a volley but are too late to hit the ball before it hits the ground and end up hitting it just after it bounces, and thus are halfway between hitting a volley and hitting a ground stroke. Another technique is hitting a dropping ball that your opponent would expect you to hit after it bounces. And again, the element of surprise can cause your opponent to make an error. Both of these techniques take a lot of practice but are exhilarating to execute. So another thing is if the ball is coming in, say it's a fairly high bounce or bounces and you would take it back here, get it as it's falling. Come in and take it as it's falling. Again, it'll get back to them quicker because you're coming in and it has less distance to travel. Plus, you're getting there quicker, you're hitting the ball earlier, so that helps you get it there quicker. And you can continue going to the net, just like on a half volley. If you come in and do a half volley, you can continue to go to the net. So that's can be an advantage.